Hey guys, Blue Jays Domain here, and it's no lie that the MLB offseason is one of excruciating slowness. I mean, like, slower than a snail stuck in glue. But why is that, and how can we fix that? Well, that's what today's video is hopefully going to do. But before we get into this video, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, that's all. Now, into the video. So, first, we need to address the issue. The issue being the offseason drags on and on and on. And there's never really a day filled with excitement. The NHL and NBA see most of their big signings happen on the first day of free agency, or at worst, in the first week. Now, I'm not saying the MLB needs to have this because I feel like it's just kind of also an issue. But if anything, I think the MLB can keep the format that they have, but have a deadline for when players have to have contracts signed. The day of deadline I propose is January 15th, the time this video goes out. That is around a month before pitchers and catchers report, and about 2 to 3 before the season starts. That would give MLB free agents around 2 months to decide on their next team. Now, we are obviously in a better place than we were in 2019 when Harper and Machado were unsigned into February, but improvement is needed. And for those who think a deadline is a bad idea or won't change anything, look at the 2021-2022 offseason. There was 2 deadlines. Yeah, a strike was looming, but look at how many big shot players actually signed a contract and could get the decision done, and the right decision done, in a month. Verlander signed. The reigning AL Cy Young winner Robbie Ray signed. Kevin Gausman, Marcus Stroman, Chris Taylor, Javi Baez, Corey Seager, and Marcus Semien. There's more, but I think I can rest my case. All of those players and more decided on life-altering contracts within a month, and they all seem to have made the right decision. This offseason, the amount of big-name contracts agreed to by December 1st, which was the deadline set in the 2021-2022 offseason, was 1. And that was Sonny Gray. He's not even a big-name contract anymore. And yes, these are different circumstances, but to counter that, we are on January 13th, the time of recording this, and only Sonny Gray, Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Jung-Hoo Lee, Eduardo Rodriguez, Shoto Imanaga, and Marcus Stroman have signed big-time contracts. And Imanaga and Stroman's contracts aren't even big-time contracts. And yes, the free agent pool is weak, but come on. A deadline will make this offseason much more action-packed through a 2-month window than we have right now. Another issue is contracts. Now, I mean, I'm not saying players shouldn't get paid if they deserve it, because they should get paid. What I'm saying is guys like Boris, who want the best contract in baseball every offseason, have slowly started to kill the offseason. It started with Harper, then it went to Seager, then Bogarts, and now here we are in the Cody Bellinger era. A guy who was worse than a cardboard cutout for 2, almost 3 seasons, had a bounce back year last year, and he's now demanding north of $200 million. And that's where the issue is starting to lie. These guys have no issues waiting, which has begun to slow the market up because they can have 5 to 10 teams try and figure out and whittle their way out of their market. If you have a deadline and a guy like Bellinger is waiting, guess what? All of those other suitors are going to look elsewhere, and they're going to sign someone else to do his job. And Bellinger's left without a team, or he has to make a fringe signing all of a sudden. It would require more urgency to making a deal done so that the team that you desire to go to wouldn't find someone else to do your job at cheaper. But if there's a deadline, players would feel more incentive to sign their contract sooner rather than later. My last thing, and it's not really an issue, it's just more something that I'd like to be improved on, and that's winter meetings. Winter meetings feel like a time where a whole bunch of moves should be made, but they very rarely do. Think of 2019. Garrett Cole, Anthony Rendon, Steven Strasburg, all at the winter meetings. A fun time. There was probably more. That's just off the top of my head. The winter meetings is a time where all the GMs come together and they're talking, and the agents are there, and players are there, and everyone who is anything is there. The MLB makes such a big deal out of the winter meetings every year. MLB Network covers it. Hot Stove covers it. High Heat. Sportsnet. Every team reporter is there. Any baseball reporter that's a baseball reporter is at the winter meetings. And you know what happens at the winter meetings? Nothing. Nothing happens. You know who signed during the winter meetings? We had Eric Fetty. We had the Eric Fetty watch. Yep. Do any of you know who Eric Fetty is? I'm waiting. Nothing. There's just something has to change with the winter meetings, and maybe this deadline helps with that. But something has to change. Also, not a really big deal, and it's kind of like a me thing, but I'd like them to make a bigger deal out of the MLB draft lottery. Like, it's supposed to be a fun time. This is where teams begin to draft their future. I'm not really sure how they do that. Maybe take something from the NHL. Their draft lotteries tend to be highly viewed events. And I just, like, how does the MLB get to that? There's something that has to happen where the MLB draft lottery is there. You don't really know when the MLB draft lottery is happening until it's happened. And then, bam, Cleveland's got the first overall pick, and everyone's like, what do you mean? There was no real big guide to kind of explain the draft lottery this year, or ever when this came in. Because now the Oakland A's, I don't think they can draft in the top 10 next year if they get in there. And no one knows why. So if you had a show, going through the draft lottery and making it make sense, and then bam, this team can't pick here because of this, and this next year, blah, 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 blah. It would make more sense. Making it more friendly to the fan is something that the MLB really has struggled with, and they have started to do it better, and just making the MLB draft lottery, easier to access. There's something. But yeah, I mean, that's how I would fix the MLB offseason if I had the choice of it. I don't, but if I did, this is what I would do. Let me know what you think. What would you add? What would you change? Would you keep a deadline? Would you not? Was my deadline too soon? Was my deadline not quick enough? I was talking with someone, and he told me December 31st seemed like a good deadline. That's a month. That's 1 month, basically, of, like, free agency if you really want to think about it. And then guess what? Because the arbitration stuff happened. If you have a deadline, you basically kind of know who your players are going to be, and then you have your arbitration stuff. It's a little bit easier to figure out your arbitration numbers and everything. It makes life so much easier if you had free agents kind of signing before, like, 2 days before spring training. So yeah, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you guys are brand new to the channel. Again, appreciate it. We're hoping to get 350 now by opening day. That'd be nice. And yeah, peace out. Bye.